is up, Bills Mafia? We have 124 days to go until the Buffalo Bills win Super Bowl 57. And this channel is going to document every single day leading up to that amazing moment with a video. It's Chiefs week. It's only Tuesday. Tuesday's almost over. So we have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and most of Saturday, or all of Saturday. I'm sorry. We have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and most of Sunday until we can finally sit down and buckle our seatbelts and get ready for revenge against the Kansas City Chiefs. Looking forward to it like no other game probably this season. I mean, other matchups may develop over the course of the season where they'll be more impactful than this one. You know, it's possible. The Bengals game, maybe that'll turn into an epic clash. I doubt it. The Packers game, I mean, that's the next game after the Chiefs game with a bye week in between. We're gonna smoke the Packers. Other than that, who? Jets, Patriots, Dolphins game. I mean, it'd be nice to have them back here in Buffalo to really put them away like we should have the first time around. And then who do we have? We have the Lions, Bears, Vikings. This is the game. This is the game. Not that it's going to, answer all of our questions, and if somehow, some way the Bills lose on Sunday, it's definitely far from, panic time at all, really. But it's the game. It's the game. It's the game that we are really invested in emotionally because obviously of the storyline that emanates from last season, the end of last season, the last season's debacle in Kansas City. So we got to erase that. Now this game's not going to erase that memory at all. I mean, what's going to happen is it'll tide us over until, of course, we get to the playoffs, get through the playoffs, maybe beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, get to the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl, and then 13 seconds. And everything else will be a distant memory. For those of us old enough to remember Wide Right, the Music City Miracle, anything else that, befell the Buffalo fan base over the past 40 years plus, all of that will be erased. And the 13 seconds, the most recent of the gut-wrenching moments in our fan base's history, will also be erased. Sunday. Yeah, we're going to punch the KC Squaws in the mouth Sunday. How appropriate for Indigenous Day yesterday. People will really love to hear that. I think it's funny. But delete that as quickly as possible so you don't lose your job. Just kidding. I have some really good jokes along those lines, but I ain't going to tell them here because I don't want YouTube to take me down. That's a whole nother type of live stream. Whole different type of discussion. We're going to talk a little bit of the Chiefs game coming up. I just want to jump on, grease the wheels a little bit, get ready for this game. Talk about kind of the latest that's been going on in Buffalo. And, then I'm hitting the hay, getting to sleep, go to work, make some money. you're catching a domestic. We're going to catch a domestic violence charge Sunday. Well, a lot of, I would imagine, a lot of Chiefs families will be flirting with domestic charges after the Bills wallop their team and they want to take it out on their loved ones around them. Us Buffalo fans, unfortunately, have somewhat of a history of kind of overreacting to losses as well. And I am definitely one of those. But Chiefs, Bills. Let's talk about it real quick. I had a interesting little run-in today, a good run-in with a fellow YouTuber. I was looking for some Bills content this afternoon, and I came across a podcast that was hosted by a couple Chiefs fans, and I got to talk to the guy. And first of all, I was listening to what they said, and I'll share a little bit of what they were talking about when it comes to the Chiefs and this game coming up and how they view the Bills and what they're anticipating. I will tell you this: they're not feeling too confident at all. But with that said, what I'm excited about is I talked the guy into coming onto my little live stream here on Friday night. So I am going to be able to, have a little discussion about the Chiefs-Bills game coming up with a Chiefs fan. Seems like a real cool dude. Looking forward to, seeing what he has to say, kind of bouncing some things off of him. His name is Chris Style. And if you come across this video after I'm finished the stream, I implore you to join us on Friday for a discussion. It'll be a little bit later in the evening because he's over on the West Coast. So I think it'll be like 10 o'clock at night on Friday. So that'll be a lot of fun. People talking, man. Everybody's talking about the Bills and the Chiefs. I mean, this is kind of, everybody assumes it's going to be the preview of the AFC Championship game. If the teams line up properly and the way everybody expects for that, for the playoffs. So it's big time. And the take, for the most part, is that Buffalo's got the better team. Vegas thinks that Buffalo has the better team. They have Buffalo as the favorites right now. I think only by like two points. But I'm telling you that Buffalo should be able to go in there and take care of business because they have the team. Now, there's a few things that I do have. There's a few concerns that I have. I wouldn't say that they're major concerns, but they're the same concerns that everybody has when they go into a game, the type of things that we have to avoid, the ways that the underdog teams can pull out a win. I mean, again, Vegas doesn't have Buffalo as a huge favorite against the Chiefs. The spread right now, looking real quick, looks like Buffalo is a 2.5 point favorite, I believe. So here is the deal with the Bills and the Chiefs. I mean, it's kind of the same formula for a team to get an upset, and that's turnovers. And Buffalo has been turning the ball over. They have had a fair amount of turnovers the first 5 weeks of the season, and it's borderline concerning. They had 4 turnovers against the Rams. They had 2 turnovers against the Steelers. They had a big turnover against the Dolphins that led to a touchdown. I think they may have had another one. And, if they turn the ball over to the Chiefs, it's not going to be like the Rams game or the Steelers game. The Chiefs will make Buffalo pay. But good thing is that the Chiefs are going up against a much better defense than the Bills had last season. Buffalo took care of business last year in the regular season, in Week 5 on October 10. And I kind of picture the same thing happening on Sunday. Buffalo moving the ball, Buffalo scoring, Kansas City struggling to finish drives, and Buffalo just pulling away at the end. I'll have one of those videos coming out in the next couple days that we can all predict the score. I see one site has Buffalo as 3-point favorites. And when you're a favorite on the road, that means that Vegas is really picturing the road team as a bigger favorite than what they're giving the spread on, because they really consider home field advantage. So, yeah, I saw that Bills Mafia, they're playing KC in Arrowhead again next season. So hopefully we'll get a batch of games coming in against Kansas City here in Buffalo over the next few years. And I did not hear what Colin Cowherd said about the Bills, but you're saying he was talking trash. You know, those guys, a lot of their content, a lot of their shows are meant to drum up some controversy. It's not always exactly what they think. A lot of times it's just to get people talking, get people commenting, get people to watch. You know, especially that one guy, I forget his name, Nick something. You can help me out. And he absolutely hates the Bills, but that's his shtick. And that's what he does. So listening to the guys on this KC podcast, I'm going to go over a few things that they said, and then we'll talk a little bit about the other news today. And then we'll wrap it up. But they were saying that the biggest thing that they're worrying about is being able to protect Patrick Mahomes, because the Chiefs' offensive line, specifically a couple players on that offensive line, have been struggling lately. They didn't look like they struggled a whole lot last night against the Raiders. But, you know, Chandler Jones did have a fairly good game. Overall, though, from what I heard from our friends over there in KC land, they were worried about Orlando Brown. Orlando Brown apparently has been struggling at the left tackle position, and they're really concerned about Von Miller eating his lunch. So that is probably a key to this game, is Buffalo getting to Patrick Mahomes with the pass rush. Now, they're ecstatic that Micah Hyde isn't in there. But, of course, they are hoping against hope somehow, some way Poyer is unable to go. That will certainly make it an intriguing matchup, Patrick Mahomes against safeties that lack experience. But if Poyer's in there and Tremaine Edmonds is back, because I believe after watching the last game that Tremaine Edmonds was definitely missed. Still don't think he's the top linebacker in the NFL, and I wouldn't mind if they move on from him. But he is better than what we had in there against the Steelers. So with Tremaine Edmonds back, a healthy defensive line, Von Miller, Greg Rousseau, you know, let's hope that Jordan Phillips is 100%. Obviously, Matt Milano, who is, I think, the best linebacker in the NFL, and that is what Pro Football Focus thinks, because they have him as the top linebacker, or at least they did after week 4 in the NFL. A solid defense against Kansas City, a solid defensive scheme, and, of course, Buffalo's offense that can throttle anybody. And I'm expecting Buffalo to win this game by a couple touchdowns. And I think the Kansas City Chiefs fans, at least the ones I was listening to and talking to a little bit today, they kind of see it the same way, and it will really come down to turnovers. If Buffalo makes mistakes, if Josh Allen, you know, throws a couple interceptions, and if our guys put the ball on the ground like they have over the last few weeks, Devin Singletary had that fumble against the Ravens. You have, of course, James Cook. His first time he touched the ball, he fumbles the ball. Zach Moss fumbled the ball, I think, in the first game of the season. Then we're talking about a different type of scenario unfolding in Kansas City. And that would make, of course, me nervous. So what's up, PH Flacco? The Bills win. Why do every analyst talk about the other team? Oh, when the Bills win? Oh, that's not true. Buffalo's getting a lot of love. A lot of love by the media, for sure. Sit Moss and start Cook. 100% Bills Mafia. I really want them to move on from Moss ASAP. So that brings me to just the hot topic of the day. Going to give you my thoughts and, you know, comment about what you think. Christian McCaffrey. obviously, I would love for the guy to be on the Bills. I would love for the Bills to make a reasonable move to land this dude. I don't know about how much of a difference he would make. He would be an upgrade. I think he might equate to, a couple more touchdowns a season on the ground rushing. Buffalo doesn't rush the ball that much anyway. He catches the ball out of the backfield, but there's question marks about his health. Of course, he suffered that injury a couple years ago, and then he missed a good portion of the following season. He had that explosive, 2019 season where he just was outstanding. Let me look at what he was looking at. I mean, what he, gained that one epic season that he had, and then what he's done since then. It hasn't really been very spectacular. I mean, in 2019, he rushed for almost 1,400 yards. He had 15 receptions for 116 yards. And, excuse what did he have here? I'm sorry. He had 1,300, way better than that. He had 1,300, almost 1,400 yards rushing and 15 touchdowns. Then he had 116 receptions for 1,000. Wow, I honestly didn't even know that. I'm sitting here talking like an idiot. So in 2019, he was just an absolute beast. And then, of course, in 2018, 1,100 yards rushing, 860 plus yards receiving on 107 receptions. And then he got hurt. I mean, in 2020, he gets hurt. And then he comes back in 2021. He puts up meager numbers. And then so far this season, in 5 games, he has 324 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns, and then 1 touchdown receiving. I mean, those are kind of, what are Devin Singletary numbers, right? Let's look at what Devin Singletary has. So remember that he's got 324 yards rushing and 200 yards receiving, right? So Devin Singletary, he has 171 yards rushing, and he has 145 yards receiving. So McCaffrey's playing, a little bit better than Devin Singletary right now, but they don't give Devin Singletary the ball as much as they do McCaffrey. Singletary has 40 carries, and McCaffrey has 72 carries. McCaffrey's averaging 4.5 yards per carry, and Devin Singletary's 4.3. So I don't think that he makes that big of a difference. He sells tickets, that's for sure. I think it's an upgrade, but unless the Bills can get him for maybe a later round pick, like at the highest, a third round pick, plus the fact that he's got, the Bills are going to be really struggling up against the salary cap next season. So from all the talk I've heard about McCaffrey today, it doesn't sound like it's really a fit. But I'd take him. Although I do believe that the Bills are eventually going to make a move to at least bring a player in to give this team insurance at one of the most important positions, whichever one they decide that would be. I don't think it's running back at all. I think wide receiver is probably the one place I'd want some insurance, and that would be probably Odell Beckham. And then after that position, maybe offensive line and maybe defensive back. But I think we're pretty good there. So I would say between offensive line and wide receiver are the two places where they might want to add a player. And I just want to say hello to Jim Tripp. Jim, thank you so much. My kid really got a kick out of you making some comments and about his passion about black holes. That was really cool. And I did order that book. So he'll be getting that book that you suggested. He's excited about it. So I really appreciate that. Bills Mafia hitman Alan Diggs and Miller hit our caps next year. We can't afford McCaffrey. Yep, that's what I heard. That's what I heard. And I do believe Brandon Beane is a little too smart on this one. Absolutely. But I think Odell Beckham could possibly be in the works. That one I think might be a little more reasonable and effective. You got it, Jim. Thank you, brother, a lot. Thank you very, very much. So we'll see about that. But I'd like to know what you guys think. I mean, where could the Bills, if they make a move, and I could see Brandon Beane making a move, like where would they want to make a move? Would it be running back? Would it be the offensive line? Would it be at wide receiver? How about tight end? Possibly even at linebacker. I mean, if there's an upgrade to be made, or if there's a player out there that could bring some insurance as we head down the stretch, because let's just face it, if Diggs or Davis has already been hurt once this year, if either of those two go out, it's going to hamper our receiving core a little bit. Now I will say that I really am super happy, and you are too, about the performance of Khalil Shakir against the Steelers. He did have that one big drop that was really horrible. But other than that, the kid definitely looks like he belongs in the NFL and is going to be a player that we can depend on and will be making some hay during the season. And I suspect it wouldn't surprise me if we see a whole lot less of Isaiah McKenzie. Isaiah McKenzie might be used more as a utility player, those jet sweeps, maybe filling in every once in a while in the slot. But I think the experiment of Isaiah McKenzie as the third receiver is over. I think Khalil Shakir steps into that role, and I'd like to see Isaiah Hodgson's actually be elevated more often. I think he has proven, I think he's shown enough to start more games this year, especially if the Bills are missing some players due to injury. So, what do you guys think? How much of our below average running is due to talent, coaching, scheme, practice? What? I think it's more scheme and repetition than talent. It's the offensive line, baby. I mean, honestly, as we have seen over the years, there have been running backs that have gone undrafted and come in and into the league and have been superstars because they get behind good offensive lines. I have thought about it on many occasions. I think even a 50-year-old guy like me, put me out there, and if you just have big guys up front pushing the big guys out of the way, I could probably on occasion run for 4 or 5 yards up the middle. Then, of course, I get clobbered and I'm dead, but I would probably average at least 5 yards a carry on a team with a stellar offensive line. So I think it's partly scheme, but mostly I think it's just the offensive line and what type of players we have up front. Why are they better at pass blocking or run blocking? And the Bills want pass blockers because they are a passing team. So I think that's probably the case. We should have kept Blackshear. Yeah, Bills Mafia, right? And is he not on the practice squad? So there you go. I mean, let's just say they lose Moss. I think they should get rid of Moss and put Blackshear in there. I don't know if he's on our practice squad or not. Update me on that. I can't remember. But yeah, I mean, running backs. That's why teams are advised not to draft them in the first round or even the second. Bills Mafia Hitman ran a 4.5 in high school. Well, good for you. I ran a 4.5, like 45 seconds. I honestly think I probably ran like a 6-second 40 in high school. So, O-line coach or new O-line players, I would want it if Brandon Beane is going to get anybody in, before the trade line. I'd like to see them bring in maybe a big stud at the offensive line position. Because what if Mitch Morse goes out again? What if we lose Deion Dawkins? What if we lose one of those guys up front? That just changes everything, right? It changes everything because Josh Allen has had a lot of time to throw. You take that away, and you're not looking at a team that scores 35, 40 points a game, right? I mean, you probably lose a touchdown on average if your offensive line takes a big hit. That's my humble opinion. So Moss is the best pass blocker. That's why he's still there. Okay, that makes sense. That totally makes sense. I got that, and that is a huge part of the game when you have a running back that can pick up a blitz. So you're fast for a nose tackle. That is one of the most amazing things about these offensive linemen is the fact that they can outrun. I mean, they can just fly. It's just amazing. New guard center or tackle for new O-line stud. I don't know. It depends on what's out there. And then finally, before I close shop here, someone made a comment on one of my videos, and this is what I want to know from you guys. He said, listen, let's just stick with what we got. This is our team, and we don't need no interloper coming in here, trying to push us over the top because we are already headed for the top. And it's kind of like a pride thing. We don't need anybody. We are just fine. It makes me think quickly of the movie. Was it the movie that was about Miracle on Ice? I forget the name of it. The one that was from about 10, 12 years ago, where the head coach of the USA hockey team, I forgot his name too, but he brought in like this super fast kid that he flirted with the guys. He wasn't flirting with the guys. He was kind of sending a message to the guys, hey, I'll bring somebody in here if you don't think you can handle this. And the team kind of rallied around each other, and I think it was a message that those guys were like, we are going to be able to do this on ourselves. We don't need any help. So that was the message. That was the comments that somebody made. We don't need anybody else. We don't need Odell Beckham. We don't need Christian McCaffrey. We've got the championship team right here, and then we're gonna forge ahead with that. But I still wouldn't mind to get like a super awesome player. That'd be kind of cool. I ain't gonna lie. Okay, Bruce Smith is your hero, and I wanted to be him. That's why I played on the D-line. That's awesome, bro. That's awesome. And Eric says, late to the party, but I looked up Odell Beckham, and in my opinion, we're better off without him. He's one small head smack from becoming the next Antonio Brown. That's interesting. And I didn't particularly like the type of personality Odell Beckham was, at least in his early part of his career. So, and I had said last night, if we bring Odell Beckham in, we better hope that Stephon Diggs is cool with it, because Stephon Diggs is the big man on campus. And we don't need anybody coming in and rocking the boat. But like Bill's Mafia says, OBJ would be insurance in case someone goes out. And then I'm redundant from what I said last night. And the final thing is, if we don't bring Odell Beckham in, picture the scenario where the Chiefs bring him in, and the Bills are playing the Chiefs in the divisional round again. We don't have Odell. They have Odell, and we're missing Diggs or Davis or Khalil Shakir. At that time, I swear all of us will be screaming, why did we not bring Odell Beckham in? That's what we'll say. That's what we'll say. All right, Chiefs week. Again, I'm going to be going live for a little bit every night. I got a guest coming on Friday night, a Chiefs fan who I came across. He's got a Chiefs podcast. If you get a chance, definitely check it out. Let me see if I can give you the podcast name real quick here. It'd be great if I could get everybody to go over just to show some Buffalo love and to subscribe to his podcast, if I can find it. His name is Chris Style, Chris Style. Let's see if I can find it here. And, talk a little friendly smack. Don't be obnoxious. Have some fun with it. And join Chris and me for the podcast. I guess I call myself a podcast, right? Podcast, and we can get some insight from a Chiefs player on what the heck they're thinking about over there. And it was very interesting to talk to him today about what they are seeing. And again, they are not feeling too confident about this game coming up. They are really, really concerned about the direction that the Bills are headed in terms of just dominating the league. So I can't remember the podcast. He just started it, so it's hard to find. But I'll have that for you guys tomorrow night. All right? Awesome. So Oh, and I should have him on during the game. I'm going to try to talk him into that. I'm going to have him visit at least for a little bit, and I'm going to, of course, live stream that too. So Bills 50, KC 0. All right, that's maybe a little optimistic, but I swear I could see that happening more than the Chiefs taking down the Bills. If I had to bet which one was going to happen, Bills 50-0 or Chiefs beating the Bills, I might go with what you just said, my friend. I might say that would be it. That would be it. Awesome deal. Can't wait for this one. It is going to be awesome. For now, thanks for joining. Let's keep it going. Buffalo, KC, Sunday, going to be epic. See you tomorrow.